We are going to be getting into the juicy stuff today, how I went from this to this, how I even got here in the first place, and what I did in order to actually see progress and sustain it. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany and I'm an online wellness coach who specializes in helping women really get to the bottom of what their challenges are in their lives so that they can live longer, live happier, and feel good in their skin. My focus is holistic remedies that actually work with your body and with your lifestyle. Today, I want to tell you about my story, how I got here, and what easy changes that you can make today for yourself. Let's get into it. So my fitness journey started when I was in high school still. I started as a cross-country runner. During my time in cross-country, I was running at least 3, sometimes 5, 6, sometimes 9 miles a day. I was also playing soccer at the time, and I felt like I was skinny fat. I would look in the mirror and I'd be so confused because I felt skinny, but I still had this layer of unwanted and uncomfortable fat that I felt like I couldn't get rid of. When I was a senior in high school, I learned that you could actually gain muscle mass and that would change your entire body shape. And every time I would look in the mirror, I wasn't feeling confident in myself. I would feel like I looked like a rectangle. I was built like a refrigerator or something. That's literally what I would tell myself. And when I finally started going to the gym, I started seeing the changes immediately. I was able to grow and literally build the body that I wanted to build through weight training. So naturally, I quit running and I went all in on the gym. And I remember getting a gym membership, and my first gym membership, the moment I stepped into that gym, I told myself, if I'm going to commit to the gym, I'm gonna fully freaking commit and I'm not gonna look back. And that year, I ended up gaining a ton of weight. I went from, I think, 105 pounds to 135 pounds over the span of 6 months, if not less. So look, you have to understand this. When I started going to the gym, my goal wasn't to be healthy. My goal was purely for aesthetics. I wanted to look good so that I could feel confident in my skin. This is what I didn't know. I didn't realize that confidence comes internally first. Back then, when I first started my fitness journey, I thought that your confidence had to come from how you looked instead of something on the inside. And I had always felt empty. There was some sort of emptiness inside of me that I couldn't really not only comprehend, but even talk about. Now, obviously, I know that a lot of that has to do with my spirituality and my spiritual understandings. And it also has to do with the way that I carry myself, who I am, how I know who I am. But we'll talk about that soon. I really wanted to bodybuild because I saw so many other people going in, stepping on a stage, and they would get so shredded and so lean. And I was like, they know what they're doing. They're so dedicated. I'm gonna get a coach and I'm gonna learn how to do the same thing. I was like, I see them embodying confidence. I wanna get to that point where I can just embody that confidence and feel healthier and feel happier in my skin. That's what the mission was. I was on a freaking mission for it. So finally, I did it. I did the thing, but in the most unhealthy way. I told myself that I wasn't going to take steroids or PEDs or anything. And if you don't know what PEDs are, they're performance enhancing drugs. I was like, I don't want any of that. I want to do this fully naturally because I know myself and I know my body and I know that I'm capable of doing this naturally. I just didn't know what that looked like. So what I did was I found a bodybuilding coach. Unfortunately, I had a deadline for when I wanted to be stepping on stage and my body wasn't ready for it. And instead of pushing it out and listening to my body, I was like, no, we're going to go and do it anyways. Because that's kind of the person who I am. I'm like, we're just gonna go out and do it anyways, or at least that's who I was. So we pushed and I ended up dropping a ton of weight in a very short amount of time. I went from 130 pounds to 115 pounds in just under 2 months. I was crash dieting like nobody's business. I restricted myself to a very small amount of food. I was doing cardio every single day for at least an hour. I was still weight training 6 days a week, and it just felt like there was no days off. I had so many mental breakdowns, and I think the most beautiful part of it was I started coming to Christ at that time, which is so cool. And I still was not perfect. Honestly, that 2-month prep felt like I was fasting. I felt like I was going anorexic. And honestly, I feel like it was just harmful for my mental health. I would look in the mirror and I could barely recognize the person that I was. Even when I was getting the spray tan before my competition, I remember thinking like, this is not even my body. This body doesn't even belong to me. I feel like a hollow version of myself. I felt like I had put so much idolization in my body, and that's just not how things should be. After I got off that stage, I overindulged. I felt like I was so starved of all the things that I was craving for so long, and I ended up binge eating. I went from 115 pounds to 140 pounds in probably 4 to 6 weeks. And if you get anything from this video, I want you to understand this. You do not have to hit rock bottom. I felt like I hit rock bottom, and I do not want anyone to ever get to that point. You don't have to. If you want to make a change, you can do that and decide today. You can do that and decide right now in this moment to make a change if that is what you want to do. You do not have to wait until you hit rock bottom for you to change. For me, I hit rock bottom and I was like, enough is enough. I'm tired of feeling tired. I'm tired of feeling puffy. I'm tired of feeling inflamed all the time. I'm tired of looking in the mirror and not recognizing who I am because I'm not rooted in my values that I once was rooted in. I'm tired of feeling so disassociated from the things going on in my life. I'm tired of leaning on substances in order to feel good and be happy and feel any sort of confidence. And I'm tired of just not feeling like my full self. So I did something about it. I started with the small habits that I knew best and was able to slowly work my way up. This is genuinely the exact framework that I work on with my clients today. And here's the exact reason why, and it doesn't just come from my personal experience, it also comes from the science and the psychology behind it. I don't know everything, but I have researched this a lot. And especially from my studies of psychology in college, what I found was we cannot just jump into things. Our bodies don't let us, even down to nutrition. You cannot just change your nutrition routine or change your daily eating habits from one thing to another right off the bat. You need to slowly integrate so that your body can make adjustments and not feel like it's in shock after years of stress or whatever else you've been experiencing. So I picked one thing that I could fully commit to. For me, that just looked like water intake at first. And then from my water intake, I went to my sleep. I was like, okay, I got my water intake down. Now I feel like I can start prioritizing my sleep. I started prioritizing my sleep. I was like, okay, what's next? Now I can start working on some of the things that I've been eating throughout the day. And I'm just gonna plan my meals so that I don't have decision fatigue all day long. So I started meal prepping again. And then from there, it was how consistent can I get with my workouts? Didn't have to be every single day, but I wanted at least 3 or 4 workouts a week. So I got really dialed in on my fitness. And then came walking. I noticed I was getting around 4,000 steps a day. So I started slowly increasing. Okay, instead of 4,000, how about I try for 5,000? Then how about I try for 6? Then 7,500. And by 7,500 steps a day on top of the weight training that I was doing and on top of the water intake and the sleep and the nutrition, the consistent nutrition, might I add, I was actually starting to see progress again. And it wasn't just the physical progress that I was seeing. My mental health was changing. And let me tell you, it wasn't 100% yet, but it was getting so much better. One of the reasons it was getting better is because I was actually doing the things that I promised myself that I would do. It's one thing to fall off track, but if you fall off track and weeks and months go by and you haven't gotten back on, what you're telling your brain is that you don't matter. And the truth is that you do matter. Getting down to that root cause too, of recognizing the limiting beliefs that I had of things like, wow, maybe I don't feel like I'm enough. Maybe I don't feel like I'm worthy of love. Maybe I don't feel like whatever it is, letting go of those and being able to replace those beliefs with ones that were empowering helped me so much. I mentioned this earlier, but I realized that confidence doesn't come from you alone. Confidence is lived. Confidence is action taking. It's doing the things that you say that you're going to be doing for yourself. The actions that you take that tell yourself, I matter, my health matters, my life matters, I am worthy, I know my truth and I know who I am. Finally, I realized that the small habits that I was making were creating huge impacts in my life. And I wanted other people to be experiencing the same amount of freedom and life and love that I was feeling in my life. I also really wanted to understand how my self-talk was actually creating the life around me. So naturally, I started looking into hypnosis and hypnotherapy. This is so woo-woo, but I'm telling you, woo-woo works. Call me woo-woo, but woo-woo works, okay? So I was starting to work with a hypnotherapist, and this was after I ended up getting my NASM certifications to work with clients and be a wellness coach. And honestly, I was just starting to get so curious about how the brain worked in order for you to achieve more of the things that you wanted to in life. So naturally, I started looking into neurolinguistics because hypnosis stems from neurolinguistic programming. And what I learned is that not everybody uses neurolinguistics for good and positive things, but just like a hammer, it's a tool. You can use a hammer to build houses and build homes for people. And you can use a hammer for bad intentions. It just depends on the person who's using it. So my goal and mission is to truly help women make the impact and change that they want to in their lives. Whether that looks like feeling more confident in your skin, if that can translate to you raising your kids and being more present for them, if that looks like you being more loving to your husband, if that looks like you having a home that feels so safe, whether that looks like you feeling safe in your body. I know that women are the true leaders in this world. We're the homemakers. No matter how you slice it, there is always going to be somebody depending on us. Our children, our husbands. We're literally the heart of the household. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping women specifically. It's because there's so much responsibility for us to teach the younger generation. There's so much responsibility for us to love on others and love ourselves. And sometimes we spend so much time focusing on other people. And this is something that I even noticed within myself. I was spending so much time doing things, doing work, doing anything for other people, and I was starting to lose myself in that. What I really want for other women is for them to be able to pour into themselves so that they can pour even more of that love and that joy into others. That was a long tangent, but I am now a master's in neurolinguistics, and I'm certified in mental and emotional release, which is a form of hypnosis where we're able to tap into your deeper limiting beliefs and let them go for good, where you get to the greater problem in your life so that you can live more empowered without anything holding you back. And I love this work because it hasn't just changed my life in so many incredible ways, but the women and their transformations that I see are so powerful. I could cry thinking about it. What I really want you to know though is your confidence stems from your mentality. Your confidence starts with your actions. Your health starts with your actions. How you look will start with your actions. So if you want to get fit, if you want to lose fat, if you want to gain muscle, you have to be willing to do the work. And it doesn't mean you have to do everything all at once today, but just start with something small. Start with drinking 64 ounces of water today. Start with getting 8 hours of sleep and sleeping before 11 p.m. Start with trying to go to sleep as the sun sets and waking up as it rises. Start going on walks throughout the day. Start going to the gym 4 times a week. Those small changes don't seem like a lot, but it makes a huge difference. You'll start noticing your stress levels decrease. You'll start noticing that you have more energy throughout the day and you won't even know where it came from. Start eating whole foods at specific times during the day and meal prepping your meals, and you'll start noticing that your energy levels actually last all day long. My point is that you don't have to feel like absolute garbage in order to want to be healthier. You don't have to hit rock bottom in order for you to want change. And change can happen in an instant. It starts with your mind, and having a firm foundation of some sort of spiritual belief also helps a ton. The one thing I now cannot live without is time blocking my schedule. I make sure to have 4 different buckets, one with work, one with my personal wellness, one with any personal needs like laundry, things like that I need to do, and the last one is social. I I feel like having all of these things has helped me tremendously with managing my priorities and also navigating my boundaries with the people that I love the most. Even though I love spending time with family and friends, sometimes I have other things that I need to do in order for me to feel good. So making sure that you know what your priorities are and where your priorities lie also matter. And all of these things added up make a huge difference. My mentor always says the pond is deep, and we can go way deeper, but I could talk for hours on this. So just scratching the surface here, I hope that this was helpful, and I genuinely want the best for you and I want to see you succeed. If you want to drop a comment and let me know what resonated the most with you, I would love to see it. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to this video. I'll see you in the next one.